Hey babes, my name's Hannah.
And my name's Chasity.
Welcome back to Bookish Babes. Today we have a special guest back with us.
Hello.
Special guest, what's your name?
Santana.
We have Santana back with us today. Today we are going to be filming our April reading wrap-up. Chasity read more than both of us combined. I had 4 books. You
I had 3.
And you had
Big whopping number.
10.
I'm not surprised that I had a shitty reading month because I think I read like an insane amount last month and then I was just like in a slump.
Yeah, I think we were the opposite, where I did not have very many last month. And then this month I was just like reading a bunch of romance, so.
That's what I did. I just read a bunch of trashy romance to get me through.
Fair.
You know?
Girls aim.
Yeah. So Chastity is going to start.
Oh, okay.
And we'll kind of just rotate from there.
Alright, okay. Am I just doing one to start with?
Do 2. Why not?
Okay. The first one that I read in April was Madly Deeply, The Diaries of Alan Rickman. I give that one 4 stars. It was a little bit different than what I had imagined. But I do know that they were only doing like certain excerpts from the diaries, and there were quite a bit of entries to like go over. I really enjoyed like the intro and the descriptions and like kind of giving you the idea of like what they had done to go through these diaries. And I did enjoy getting that little bit of Alan Rickman and seeing like, because I journal and I keep tabs of like random things and just bits of inspiration and things that I want to write down. So just getting to kind of see what he thought was interesting enough to like note for his days was just kind of cool. And I really like having that book and like just keeping it with me on my shelf. It was just cool to add to that to my collection. So I give it 4 stars.
Did you do the audiobook or did you like physically read it?
I did the audiobook.
Who narrates that?
Some of my dumbass was almost like, did he narrate it?
Came back from the dead.
Fucking wish. You know what? I don't know. I have it on my phone, but I do not remember the name.
It would have been really cute if they had somebody from Harry Potter narrate it.
They should have done that.
That would have been cute.
Would have been.
Oh, you want me to do
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot. The next one I read was Twisted Love. The first one in the series by, what is that series called? Is it called just
It's just
Twisted?
I think it's just Twisted, yeah.
Twisted?
The Anna Huang.
By Anna Huang. I gave that one 4 stars. I really did like this one though. I did like it. It was, I cannot remember any of their names for some reason. Do you remember any of them? No? No?
Alex
and
Ava.
Ava. Oh,
Not the double A's.
what
Alex
was I
Ava.
forget about? Ava.
Yeah. Ava, my
Alex.
queen. I love Ava.
Alex was definitely the who did this to you. He
Yeah.
gave that big energy.
Alpha
I
male.
love that. I almost, there's some parts of Alex that I feel like I would almost not like if they had not been done right, because that alpha energy is sometimes a very big turnoff for me, but I feel like she did it correctly to where I was very into this one. And Ava was just the right kind of like,
She
it
was
was kind
quirky without it being cringy.
yes,
Yeah.
it was very, I would say it was also kind of Grumpy Sunshine,
Okay.
where I was really into it.
I love the scene where she like baked him these awful cookies
And
he
he-
pretended like they were good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It like makes my heart melt.
I really did enjoy this one.
But then, you know, spoiler alert, he's also hiding a very big secret from her.
Yeah, but you know what? That was okay.
It's on my list to read.
But then that man groveled. That man, God, that book has some of the best groveling I've ever written. Like,
He
I mean,
really did.
for upwards of a year, he moved to a
Damn.
different country for that. He groveled.
He groveled. That's the kind of man I...
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a man. But anyways,
Yeah.
4 stars.
Literally married.
Literally married, but that's the kind of energy I need.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
First one I finished in, what month is that? April. April was Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. I could have swore I read this in March, but apparently I finished it April 1st. We reread our favorite Colleen books for a video that we did. That's already up, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was already up. Maybe Someday was always my favorite, and like, listen, it's still a 5-star for me. It held up.
You know what? I'm just gonna pipe in here and say I read that this month too.
Yeah.
Still a 5-star.
Yeah.
For me
It
too.
holds up.
It does.
It's a great book. I don't need to like. I'm not that Colleen needs any help, but read it if you haven't.
She's doing real well for herself.
Yeah.
I read
Great.
Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I gave it 4 stars.
Interesting.
I really liked it.
Okay.
It reminded me a lot of Elle Kennedy's like hockey, like the Briar U series.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest complaint is she very much tries to force the frenemies thing
Okay.
for no reason.
So maybe I shouldn't read that because that's what turned me off from Spanish
It
Love
doesn't
Deception.
last super long.
Okay.
It's really just the beginning. It's like a whole thing where they have to share a hockey rink, and he's pretending like he doesn't know what happened, even though he knows. He's covering for his teammates and not telling the girl he just met the truth because he owes her nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So she finds out he knows the truth, and then it's just enemies from there.
Oh, but that's like sort of a reason. Like in Spanish Love Deception, he was just kind of mean to her once.
No, like it's a reason. It's a shitty reason.
Yeah.
Like he owes you nothing. You don't know him from
Yeah.
Adam. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna walk up and tell like all of my truths to a stranger.
Yeah, that's true.
True.
That was my biggest complaint about the whole thing. It's also like really long. It seems like
She does seem pretty girthy. But
She
It is
is.
a big.
she is, and
For a
I feel
romance,
like
yeah.
it really doesn't need to take that long. But it was still good. I still enjoyed it. The sequel already comes out in like August, so I'm gonna pick that up and like probably devour that. The audiobook's really good. I did audiobook. But
I really need to get my ass moving. These
It's
people,
fun.
how do they write so quickly?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was shocked because it just came out like the beginning of this year, right? Like or the end of
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
And the
Or because it's blowing
sequels-
up, so they're like, let's capitalize off of this and release
If
new
the
ones.
second one's as girthy as that one,
Mhm.
shoot,
Couldn't be me,
Yeah.
obviously.
same.
The third one that I read was Air of Fire. Of course, that's a 5-star. Like, it's so good. It's so fucking good.
It was
It's
like
still my
forever like my
favorite.
favorite in the series. I love it. Cause
It's still my favorite.
I feel like
I
I've
think.
gone off on this tangent before, but like the first two, like 3 if you're counting the prequel, but like Throne of Glass and the second one. What's that
Crown
one?
of Midnight.
Crown of Midnight. Those are almost like a separate series to me.
I agree.
And Air of Fire starts the rest of the series, which I think is why I love it so much.
I even tell like people when they buy the series, like if you have troubles with the first two, the third one is entirely different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the whole series is like going to kick off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not to say the first two are bad per se, but
So
if you
I
struggle
actually
with them,
didn't really like the first one.
I know. But you
Like, I almost
you
didn't
like
rest
the
of the
second
series.
one though.
I liked like the second half of the second one.
yeah.
Once it was like Faye version of, spoiler alert, whatever, they've been out forever. If you haven't read it, it's a choice at this point. The Faye version of her like was introduced.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, ooh, this
Yeah.
is what I signed up for.
Fair.
Because I didn't sign up for this fucking human assassin in this human world.
I
You know
did.
what I mean?
I signed up for
I signed
that.
up for a fantasy book. Y'all are some humans. Anyway.
Not the
We don't
human.
fuck with humans around here.
Clearly.
And then, of course, the next one that I read was Queen of Shadows. And, you know, sometimes I go back and forth on, like, Air of Fire, Queen of Shadows being my favorite. Because, like, I absolutely just love both of them.
Fair. Fair.
Very much fair.
Yeah. Empire Storms is my favorite.
Really?
Hot take.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I also read Queen of Shadows, and I also gave this one 5 stars. We're rereading right now. I started Air of Fire with her, and I think I read that one in March. Yeah.
We'll call right back.
Yes, it was. Listen, I'm having so much fun with this reread. I liked the series when I first read it, minus the first one, but I am liking it so much more now with this reread. I think it was because I read the Throne of Glass series so quickly after I finished ACOTAR, and I was like expecting, like I wanted something that made me feel the way that ACOTAR did, and it's just a very different series. So I don't feel like I gave it, you know, the time that
Yeah.
it deserved, and I am doing it now, and I am such a Rowan girly, and I too, I really love Queen of Shadows. I love seeing her reconnect with Adian, and we get a whole slew of new characters in this book. We get like Lysandra and Elide and Manon and
my queen.
Abraxos, the true legend. And it's just, and you.
I'm wearing my Witchling shirt.
You are. And it just like it goes around, like you get so many different characters, so many different point of views. It's great. It's honestly really great.
I read the Throne of Glass series in my early 20s, and I read it before ACOTAR. It was not all of it was published at the time. The first
It's 2015. It was released in 2015 because I was in high school. Because I started reading in high school.
Shut your mouth.
Might be.
I'm in my 30s now, so
You're not that much older than I am.
You guys are both older than me.
I keep forgetting that.
I love to point that out.
So yeah, they weren't all released then. So rereading them now is just like, yeah, Empire of Storms. That one was released.
I just remember that
after
we
I
were
had
already
started,
friends.
yeah.
You and I were already friends when Kingdom of Ash got released.
Yeah.
Yeah, Empire Storms got
I heard-
released.
I remember pre-ordering Empire of Storms.
Yeah.
I was in college when it released, so I didn't read it whenever it got released.
Yeah.
I'm jumping into your buddy read at Tower of Dawn
Yes, you are.
because I need someone to kick my ass into their
Yeah.
gear.
No,
I never read Tower of Dawn.
I'm the only one who
Yeah.
has read
I
Tower of Dawn.
actually never read Kingdom of Ash either.
Same.
So
So
we're doing that.
Because I can't get through Tower of Dawn, and I will not skip it.
I am the only one here that has finished the series.
It's true.
So we're gonna do it.
Listen, my husband finished it before me, so.
We're gonna do it. It's alright. We're almost there. We're about to do Empire of Storms this month.
I'm doing Empire of Storms. I'm actually going to tandem read Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn. I know you guys aren't, but I'm going to tandem read them.
I just read Empire Storms last year, so I don't want to jump back into it.
Yeah, I'm going to tandem read them to see how that is. Because I feel like if I remember finishing Empire of Storms, and I know it kind of ends on a cliffhanger, and I don't think I will make, I think I'll just go to Kingdom of Ash. I don't think I'll read Tower of Dawn at
That's
that point.
fair.
So I'm going to
do
tandem
it.
read them.
Yeah, so do the tandem read.
I started
So do you
tandem
want-
reading them.
Go ahead.
I started tandem reading them when I read Empire Storms last year. But I didn't know that there was a guideline, like a list of like what chapters to
You
read.
have to read the first several chapters of Empire of Storms.
Yeah,
first.
so I started reading it, and then I was like, oh, this seems like a good spot. Let me jump over to Tower of Dawn. Immediately got something spoiled,
Yeah, no,
and I
so
was like,
just
alright, we're done. I'm gonna pack it in.
I think I might post it on our Instagram page if you're curious about it, because I found it a really good template where it's like, you know, read this many chapters of Empire Storms and then read these chapters of Tower of Dawn and then this many and then this many. So like it tells you what order to read which chapters in.
You know, maybe I'll do that.
It's not like 1-to-1. Yeah, I'm doing that this month.
Okay, maybe I'll do that then.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do Empire of Storms and then to Tower of Dawn.
Mm-hmm. Which both of those are fantastic ways to read it. Like even like, you know, big fans of the Throne of Glass series like can never agree on which way is best. I just know when I finished Empire of Storms before, I had absolutely no desire to move on to Tower of Dawn. I wanted to move on to Kingdom of Ash. So I just know that if I don't tandem read them, I won't read Tower of Dawn.
A lot of the reasoning is Kale.
I don't have an issue.
I don't either.
Fucking stand Kale.
I don't have any. It's not necessarily that like I love him or I hate him.
I don't want to read a whole book from him.
I love Kale.
Like, first of all, there's a ton of other characters
I know,
that I
but,
love.
like,
you know, but I there's so much
sad in a wheelchair. Like I don't want that.
there's so much other
I
than
forgot
that.
he was in a wheelchair.
There's so much other than that, you know.
I forgot he was in a wheelchair.
Just feel like we're having this Silver Flames discussion all over our
I
head.
love Kale.
We're going into
That's
I
so
would-
wild to me.
I love Kale. I love an idiot. Sorry.
See, that's why I
however,
don't, because I don't think he's stupid. I just really
he's
think
not. No,
No,
okay.
he's
Here's the
an
thing.
idiot. He's not like
He had
dumb
moments.
He's an
He
idiot.
had really. He redeemed himself a little bit at the end of Queen of Shadows, but I had some issues with him.
I haven't read Tower Dawn because it's a lot of lore dumping, and I am not a lore dump girly. I don't even lore dump in my own D&D games. So
it's true.
you figure it out when I figure it
Yeah.
out. We do it together.
Yeah, this is true.
So that's why I haven't read Tower Dawn. Because Ian has confirmed with me that he thinks it's a bunch of lore dumping.
Great.
And he loves lore. So.
I really don't think it was that much lore dumping.
You don't think?
I don't think so, but we'll see what I think now. I was
That's
20-something, so I was probably just skipping.
Yeah, that's
Thanks.
tea.
Like, Rowan's not in here. Skip.
Who cares?
Fucking
Skip.
care. Fucking care.
Mammons not here.
Don't
Lorcan's
care.
not here.
Xoxos. I'm gonna say something real controversial for you Game of Thrones stands. Game of Thrones stand here. Manon is what Daenerys wishes she was.
Tea! I don't know why I thought you were going to make a comparison between Bran and Gale.
No, but I could.
I thought, and I was so prepared for it.
No, but I could.
But
They're both-
yeah, you're right.
They're both
Stop.
sad.
Stop. Stop.
The
And the
difference-
story could just exist without them.
I don't believe that.
Not the first one, but he could have died in the second book, and it wouldn't make a difference in the
You
rest
know
of the
what?
story.
You're incorrect because you haven't finished it.
Oh,
So
spice.
you're incorrect.
Okay, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, you will.
Okay.
Because you're wrong on that one. I wish I could tell you differently, but
She said you're incorrect.
you're incorrect.
You're incorrect. Time mark this. Come back later.
Yeah.
Incoming.
Yeah.
Incoming video just for you.
Yeah.
I'm also going to make a TikTok video with Bran and Kale side by side.
Corbett wants to tell the difference between these pictures.
Stop. No.
I'm going to get banned off this channel.
No, this is great. Anyway, what was your next one?
I have no idea.
You have a list.
Yeah. Okay. The next one that I read was Scarred, which is number 2 in the Never After series by Emily McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
This is another one we disagreed on. However, I did give it 3 stars.
I thought it was real bad.
She did not like it at all.
Mhm.
This was my favorite one
T.
out of the series. Okay? We
So
did not
far.
agree. So, well,
I only read the first
let
two.
me continue on in this
Yeah.
video, because so far I've read 4 of them.
For 4 of them?
Yeah,
I don't know you finished the fourth one.
I did.
Damn.
So, number 2, Scarred. I really liked this one. So I gave it 3 stars because I did think that the political world was a little messy. I did think that the beginning was still not like as strong as it could have been. I did end up getting about 20% into it and having to kind of start again because I was a little bit lost. Again, that has to deal with like the political world. Also, I kind of felt like maybe I just wasn't paying enough attention and I wasn't invested enough, so I didn't know if that was the world or just me. So I did go back and give it another go, and I liked it a lot more. Tristan, who's the main character, the villain in this one. I loved him.
I did
I
not
loved
like
him.
Tristan either.
I loved
Yeah.
him.
Tristan was fine. I just felt like the book was lame. You know?
Oh, see, I didn't.
Maybe I need to reread it. I'm not gonna reread it, but
I did
I'll
not.
settle the debate.
yeah, you gotta read it.
I liked it.
You don't. They're not connected, so you don't have to read Hooked.
I have read Hooked.
Okay.
She's read
Didn't
it.
like it.
This one is a lot better, I think.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what I'm going to tell you. I just, settle the debate.
You gotta St. Hannah's Corner.
There's one, however, that I will tell you you will not like.
Oh, God.
Did you just want to group all those together?
Yeah, sure, I'll go ahead. So the next of it, so they don't go together, so I did not read them in order.
Mm-hmm.
I read Twisted next, which is actually number 4, which is the Aladdin one.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That one was good. It wasn't as good as Scarred.
Is she with Jafar in that one?
Yeah.
T.
I've never liked an Aladdin retelling.
Yeah. Well, this one I actually was so. With these, I don't consider them retellings. I consider them reimaginings.
Fair.
Because they're literally just like sprinkled in like little Easter eggs, I feel like, because they're just not enough of the actual original story to be considered retellings.
Okay.
They're just modern day. Well, some of them are modern day. Scarred, I felt like, was...
Scarred was like, yeah. What do you consider that? Like
That was,
medieval.
like medieval.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like so it's not like the.
But Hooked was more modern.
But Hooked was more modern. So was Twisted. So was Wretched. So yeah, it's.
Okay.
I would say like
No, that's fair.
reimaginings.
That's fair.
So this one was about like a big diamond corporation, like a diamond company, and the father was dying of cancer, and he wanted to leave the company to the daughter, but in order for everything to go this way, like in the will and everything, the daughter needed to be married. So it was an arranged marriage, which
Which I'm usually a
I usually
skank for.
love.
Yeah.
I did enjoy.
Mhm.
I enjoyed who it was with, which is our Jafar in this situation.
Not the uncle.
It definitely was not. Thank you,
Okay.
Hannah.
Creed
You're just throwing that in there.
Well, Jafar isn't Jafar her uncle in the
No, I don't think
in
so.
Aladdin?
No.
No, he's just the.
I think Jafar was her uncle.
Because you have problems.
Yeah, Jafar is definitely not. He's just the
Oh, what's the name? Starts with an S.
no, he's the something to the Sultan.
Oh, right. Is he just the assistant?
Yeah, pretty much. He's just
He's
like
the assistant manager.
he's the assistant manager to the general manager.
Like
That's
the
what
hand
he
of
is.
the king?
Yeah, he is.
He's the
he is-
Dwight Schrute.
Dwight.
Are you really? You don't believe me?
I feel like that's her uncle. No, he wasn't.
It's literally one of my favorite Disney movies, and this
That
bitch
was
is
her
like,
uncle.
it's her.
I
uncle.
haven't seen it in years, and I knew that.
Why did I always think that was her uncle? The Sultan's most trusted and loyal advisor.
Advisor.
Yeah. He was the Ned Stark.
Yikes. Oh my god, head to head.
Anyway, I thought it was good. I did have a few issues with it. It wasn't. I mean, it just is what it is.
Mhm.
They're not like.
Take them for what they are.
Yeah, you know.
They're better than some.
But
Not
worse
as
than
good
a
as
lot.
others.
No,
Yeah.
these were. They definitely had some better plots. You know.
It's not Desperate Measures, that's for sure.
I don't remember what his name was. It wasn't Jafar, but Jafar was keeping some
It's
secrets.
probably like Jason.
Jax,
Jeff.
Jace, whatever.
Not Jeff.
Jeff,
Joey.
Jared.
Not Jared from Subway.
JJ was keeping some secrets. So, you know, it just, you know, it was good. It was good. Yeah. Oh, that's what I was trying to think this entire time. I was trying to think about how Aladdin played into this.
He's the bad guy, isn't he?
No, which I thought he was gonna be, but no, he was like her best friend growing up, and they were actually in love, like actually, like in a relationship. But you know, she had to do like arranged marriage, so he was like, him and his
Something.
mom worked in the business, and so he was like the poor boy, who she was actually in love with. Yeah.
I hate that.
No, you'll see why you don't hate that.
Okay.
It actually worked out really well, and I was surprised by it, and I actually did like that, because I was like, oh man, she's just gonna totally fuck over this dude, but she didn't. Fuck Aladdin. That's all I got to say.
T.
Yeah.
So he
You
was
know-
the bad guy.
Yeah.
I don't know, I was gonna say something inappropriate.
We love
Did you
that.
have another one that you read?
Yeah. So, I was very excited about this one. It's number 3, Wretched.
Oh, that's right. That's by her too.
Yeah. So this one
Should be popping these out.
was,
She's got a new one coming out.
yeah, it's Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh god.
I know, that's how I feel.
Oh, I'm excited. Sorry. These are all like ones that I was real stoked about that just don't ever get retellings. So this one, Wretched, was supposed to be based off Wicked.
Mm-hmm.
Really? I didn't know that.
Uh-huh. So I was like super stoked.
Clean.
Nope, I was super stoked. I was like, yes. I don't get anything of Wicked. And I fucking love Wicked. I love The Wizard of Oz. So I was like, hell yeah, that's right up my jam. Yeah, 2 stars.
Oh no.
No.
So here's my thing. I was really, really into it, okay? So we start off real strong, okay? So she's the villain in this one.
Okay.
T.
It's modern day. It's mafia, which I typically do enjoy. I felt like this one had the strongest plot because it was like an undercover cop and it was mafia and it was like I was really into the story. This is the one you're not going to enjoy. So
You've been preaching everything I like, though. Yikes.
well, you're not really into the drug biz,
Yeah.
so
That's
you'll
fair.
be piecing out real early on this one.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
He's a drug lord?
Huh?
She's a drug lord or he's a drug lord?
Yes, she is.
Love that.
Her and her father.
Mhm.
And I was all into it until gunplay came into play.
No.
I'm out. That is where
Not
I
her
draw
taking
a hard line.
Not her taking some tips from Haunting
Nope.
Adeline.
I was thinking the same thing.
Not my thing.
I read The Hobbit.
I'm sorry, that was just so funny.
Technically it was a reread. I have read The Hobbit before.
I love the Hobbit.
Same. 5 stars. Every time.
This boy I used to have a crush on used to call me a hobbit.
Not that's wrong. I don't think.
You're not a hobbit.
My toes aren't hairy.
Okay. I have a deal with my husband. I've never read Lord of the Rings, the series, the whole trilogy. I always get to the same spot in Fellowship, get bored, and quit. I've tried to read it multiple times. We have a deal. I have to read the whole series this year, and for every book I read, he will read an ACOTAR book.
Yes.
So we had a work
So
trip.
he has to read
The Hobbit.
Avatar now.
Yeah, he does. He's never read The Hobbit. So for a work trip, we listened to the audiobook on the drive. So he listened to it for the first time ever, and I get him to read A Court of Thorns and Roses now.
Has he started it?
No, because he's an asshole.
He needs to start it. Tell him
Oh
over to come to my house in a couple weeks. He has to have started it.
my god. Deal. So he does have to read that, and then now I have to read Lord of the Rings to continue, which I think we all agreed we're going to read it together anyway.
Yeah.
So it works. I need that motivation because I'm not looking forward to it. We listened to the audiobook narrated by Andy Serkis.
Love that. I fucking love that.
I don't
It
know
was
that man.
so good.
I don't know that man.
It's the guy who plays Gollum.
Oh.
Ian also didn't recognize him by
Yeah.
name. And when I told him, he was like, oh god, that one scene is going to be so good. And it was.
Mm-hmm.
So fucking good. However, terrifying. Because
Yeah.
you're not expecting it.
You're like,
And
oh,
it's,
God.
It's straight up just Gollum.
So you're like, do, like driving.
Yeah, and it's
Shit.
just...
He's also in a
hobbits.
Marvel movie.
He's in a lot of fucking movies.
Mhm.
Like,
It's
I'm
almost
trying
like
to think
he's a famous actor.
which one that is.
I don't remember. But, so that was the one that, the next one I read.
That's gonna bother me now.
Do you mean to look it up? Okay. It's your spicy brain talking.
Yeah.
You gotta know.
My spicy brain is
Back to you.
Oh,
Yeah, it's back to you now.
Back to you, Chastity. Like I'm a reporter.
Back to me. Guess what? We're almost done with me. So the next one that I read was The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. Didn't you read that one too?
I finished it. Wait, I didn't put it down. Okay, so I did read 5 in April.
So The Perfect Marriage
Yeah.
by Geneva Rose was 5 stars for me. I absolutely loved this book.
Yeah, I'll just piggyback off of that. I give it 4
Mhm.
stars, but like I said, to be fair, I'm really picky. Honestly, it's probably like a 4.5 star rating for me. I really liked it. It was almost perfect. I think there were a couple parts where like it was a teensy bit slow. That's my only complaint.
It wasn't slow for me. I really, really enjoyed it.
I liked it a lot though. I have to say, like, I suspected kind of who was involved, but I didn't expect how they were involved, if that makes sense.
She did. I did not.
Yeah. So I was still surprised.
I was completely shooketh.
And I fucking loved the end.
I loved
the end.
Loved
Ooh.
the end. There's only one
I
other
was
book that has
cackling.
ever gotten me like that.
The wives.
Yep.
I was cackling at the end.
Same.
But it's not
I-
like
it
it's not
was
the same
literally-
ending as the wives, but
No.
it made me feel the same way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Justified.
Yeah.
Really?
Where I was like, pop off.
I've not.
It was
read
one
that
of those
yet.
ones where I put the book down and I was like,
I was literally cackling reading it.
yes.
I haven't read that one.
You need to.
Well, yeah. Now that you're saying that, because I love The Wives.
I actually think you would really like The Perfect Marriage.
Okay.
Mhm.
I just got the arc for her other. Oh, I got an arc.
You
for
read
her
this
other
one?
Book.
No, I
Oh.
haven't one to read.
I was like, bitch.
I've heard a lot of people talk about it though.
Oh, yes. Ian loved it. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for this bitch to read it.
Oh, I'll give you the arc. Because he bought the physical copy, so I'll give you the arc.
Okay.
Yeah. He bought the nice hardcover. But, yeah, anyway. I do want to read The Perfect Marriage.
Mhm.
I have it downloaded. I just haven't picked it up. I
If
was
it's
going to
honestly
read
a really
it.
quick read. Like you'll really get into it.
Remember in, like, the end of last year when I was in my, like, thriller
Mhm.
and I was reading one right after another? I picked it up, but it was at the tail end of my thrillers. So I just wasn't interested at the time. So I need to go and give it back another fair shot.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do have it.
Well, Drew says you should. So.
Drew says I have to do it then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott says I shouldn't, so I definitely should.
And the whole like premise of the book, like it was, and this is not like a spoiler. It's on the back. It's like, you know, he's accused of like murdering his mistress. Once that starts, I flew through the rest of the book. It was the beginning part to me that was almost a little bit slow.
That's
getting
usually,
into it. Yeah. But like once that starts, boom, boom, boom. Like it's like,
Okay.
you're suspicious of everyone.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to see. Is there an audiobook for it?
Yeah, I think so.
T. Okay, don't mind me.
Next one I read was Six Scorched Roses by Carissa Broadbent. This is The Crowns of Nyaxia, I think is how you say it.
Mhm.
1.5. I don't know how to describe it, but it's characters that will be involved in the second book.
Okay.
But it's a separate story, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay, so they're
So
like
it's like
connected?
introducing these guests.
Okay.
It's a novella. It's a short story. Short. It's still pretty long, but it is a novella. Loved it. 4.5 stars. Really, this is more romance heavy than The Serpent and the Wings of Night are.
Okay.
But it's just a backstory on two characters that are heavily involved in the second Serpent book. So this is about Lilith, she's a human. She lives in a village where they were all cursed and they're all dying. And she, you know, in this world, vampire blood has like healing properties.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes to seek out a vampire, but they're not at all like involved. Like in this world, like vampires and humans don't like live alongside each other. But she goes to where this vampire Vale lives, and basically makes like a bargain with him. It's almost sort of like a very, very, very loose, like Hades and Persephone, very loose, because there's like a sort of bargaining there. But she's like, you know, every time I come see you, I'm gonna bring you a special rose if you'll give me a vial of your blood. And she like doesn't tell him like what's special about the rose, but she promises that these roses are special, and in you know return she'll get a vial of her blood to try to like make this medication to help save the people in her village. And so she, you know, goes back and forth, and it just kind of shows them and how like they progress, and kind of goes into like her story and the story of her village and how they ended up that way. And I really loved it.
I have
That sounds
to
so
read it.
sweet.
I really loved it. And I loved Vale. And I spoiler alert, read the second Carissa Broadbent, but and I loved Vale in that book too. So I'm so glad that I got this introduction to them.
Yeah, I read Thief
Mm,
by Taryn Fisher.
yeah.
Reread that one.
Mhm.
For the Love Me With Lies. Bookish Babes we just did in the reread. Yeah, it's still 5-star for me.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to know more about my thoughts on that one, you should watch the Bookish Babes we're going to post.
So long as you've already read that series, because it's very spoilery.
Which you should have read that series.
If you haven't.
If you
What
haven't,
are you
you need to
doing?
go do that
Yeah.
right now. First one's The Opportunist.
Yeah.
Go get it.
T.
You have no more, Chris?
I have one more.
Oh, okay.
My last book was American Queen by Sierra Simone.
Mm-hmm.
2 stars.
Okay. I have not heard great things about that one.
I didn't like Priest.
Mm.
Didn't know this was the same author when I picked it up. Wasn't good. Was not good at all.
She's consistent.
She is consistent. I will give her that. This is the one, you remember in the book battle we just filmed, I mentioned like the incest plotline?
Yeah. Oh, no.
That's the one. They kind of drop it
Just
I
pepper it
guess
in.
spoilers.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you any other information about it, but like, they drop it and then it never comes back. It's like, hey, by the
Dropped
way,
it right out of the book.
yeah, it was like, by the way, this happened. Bye. And I was like, great.
It's like, oh,
Wow, if I didn't already
one
dislike
incest
this.
jump scare.
Yeah, I was like, if I didn't already like this, that would have been the sure kicker right there.
Mhm.
There was literally only one character I liked the entire book, and he got the least amount of screen time. And I do not care to continue reading to get more of him.
Mhm.
So, it's also one of those books that, like, they end purposely on, like, a cliffhanger epilogue. So you have to read.
Like Haunting Adeline.
Yeah. But, like, it's an actual epilogue. So, like, the book finishes, and then there's, like, BT dubs, this happens.
It's like, oh,
like,
we were
I don't
finished,
care.
but we're not.
It was like, I don't care.
Not like the post-credit scene.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Like, you wait the whole time for what?
Mm-hmm.
So, 2 stars. If you like spice, read it, but don't read it for the plot.
Tea.
Yeah.
Last one I have is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by
Oh my
Carissa
God.
Broadbent.
Who could have saw it coming?
I know, shocker, right? So, keep in mind I gave Serpent and the Wings of Night 5 stars. It's probably one of my, it's like up there for one of my favorite books. Definitely one of my favorite ones that I've read this year. What's the one that I just talked about? Six Scorched Roses was 4.5 stars. This one was a 4-star read for me, which is still really good for me. That means that like I really liked it. It just wasn't like 100% perfect. And this one just felt a teensy bit slow to me. That's my only complaint. If you've ever seen like a physical copy of this book, it's fucking huge. It's like a Harry Potter book. It's like massive.
Dang.
So like inevitably there's gonna be like some fluff in there.
Oh, yeah.
But I love this world and this story so much. I love Rain and Araya, and I love how different they are, yet how similar they are. And Araya is like one of my favorite female main characters. She is like such a badass without being that like female main character in a fantasy book that like somehow does everything right all the time.
Selena.
Yeah. She like definitely has faults and she has weaknesses, and I love that about her. But she also, you know, she always gets the job done. It's one way or the other. She might fucking kill herself doing it, but she gets the job done. And this was, I can't only say so much about it because you haven't finished the first one. But you know, the first one ends in a certain way that makes you really want to continue with the story.
Okay.
And this just felt very complete to me. I'm so happy that she wrote this book the way that she did and how it ended. She is continuing on with the series, but it will be about other characters at this point. So this is the end of Araya and Rain's story, and I'm actually not sad about it. It ended perfectly. Like, I don't feel like I know I'll see them in future books, but I don't feel like I need anything else from their point of view. Like, their story feels complete to me, and it was so good. So, like, I, like, all props. I know, like, once again, she doesn't need my help. Carissa Broadbent is doing just fine. But all props to her because, like, these books are fantastic. For being an indie fantasy author, like, these are so good.
On the other spectrum, I DNF'd the first one.
You know, I think if you give it a shot, I think you'd really like it.
I'm halfway through it.
Mm-hmm.
The first one.
And enjoying it?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very, very good. This just really dealt with a lot of Araya and like her complicated feelings towards certain things, and I can't get into it because we finished it, but we should do a book babble on these books when you're done.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what we read in April. Quite a list.
Mm-hmm.
Comment down below, let us know what you think. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, and make sure you turn on that notification bell so you know when we post next.
Bye.
Bye.